I'll tell you what, the traffic was pretty easy this morning, wasn't it?
Much easier than normal, wasn't it? Surprisingly, actually.
Yeah.
One tip for people driving in bad traffic. Not that you're professionals, but...
I'm definitely not.
You're not good in traffic.
I mean, when you think about number of speeding offences.
Well, yeah. 3 months?
Yeah. Sarah, when I told Sarah that I'd been caught speeding again, so I've only got 3 points on my licence, so it's not that bad, but I just seem to get caught consistently every time due to, as a speed awareness course expires, I then get caught with one again.
Right, yeah. Timing's perfect.
But Sarah was like, oh, you're almost as bad as this guy, and she named this person who'd been caught speeding 3 times in one day.
No
and I was
way.
like, I'm not as bad as that. But
he's either very unlucky or
he was very unlucky.
Reckless.
He was in a works van,
Yeah.
and he drove through something like 2 or 3 speed cameras in like a 2-hour thing, doing like 10 miles an hour over the speed. So you got up. So like letters just arrived. 3 letters arrived on the same day, I think.
Is that not just like? Is that not speeding on one journey, and it just so happens to be that you're consistent?
Yeah, consistently speeding. Yeah.
Yeah. At least it's consistent with something, isn't it, I suppose.
So today we are on episode 17, which is pretty big number.
Milestone.
I feel like we celebrate every episode number now. I was listening back to a couple of them. Obviously, I have to proof the episodes before they go live, so I listen to them before they they go out into the market. But yeah, we've got over 100 subscribers on YouTube now.
Thank you very much for those 100
although
people.
we've been stuck at 106 on YouTube for about a week now. So if anyone can go on and subscribe, and actually when this comes out, that'll be 8 weeks from now.
Right. Okay.
Because we're about 8 episodes. Or no, we're about 6 episodes ahead with this one. So hopefully, if you look now, the subscriber count will be higher than 106.
Right.
If it's not, we suck.
Yeah. And if it's higher, we know we're making a difference.
'Cause that means we've been sat at 106 for like 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So either way, if you can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify, it makes a massive difference. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast episodes. But yeah, how are you, Tom? You all right?
All right, yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah, got shorts on
Shorts
today?
on. Well, the weather is like, what is it, like 23 degrees today,
Yeah,
potentially?
it's definitely summer's come out early.
Well, hopefully it lasts, but we'll see.
It's probably just a couple of degrees too cold for my legs.
For your
So I reckon next time we're filming, so in around 8 episodes time, my legs might
be out.
Yeah. But then they will have also been browned off a little bit because they're pale at the moment.
Toasted.
So
They'll be
I need to
toasted.
get on the sunbed a little bit, like you.
Yeah, look at me. I'm trying under the natural light.
Is it the sunbed or is it fake tan?
No, they weren't cutting out. I'm not admitting to anything. Then we would get some hate on this in the comments.
So,
how about you? How's everything with you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think last time we sat down and filmed, I was feeling quite angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
So it will have been episode 13, I think it will have been.
Yeah.
Just feeling a bit annoyed. But it's interesting how... sorry, I've just put my arm in front of the mic. It's interesting how we... as people, we've got this natural kind of up and down, and I'm on that. But yeah, at the moment I feel good. I've taken a lot of rest, to be honest with you.
Good.
I'm very well rested. The last week I worked 10 hours.
Right.
The week before that I worked 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like I've
Life of a business owner, that, isn't it?
Not.
A joke.
No, well, I had a sit down with Rob and Sarah as well, and we were just chatting about, like, because we run a very seasonal business in Holland, and I think I could right now be doing 55, 60 hours a week, but the return on investment would be much lower than me doing that in our peak season. Mm-hmm. So I said to them and articulated to them that I need to just take a bit of time to relax and chill. And especially I was feeling a bit, not drowning, but just despondent / frustrated with a few things. Yeah. Particularly...
the special guest.
Is Rachel in camera, Morgan, or is she...
Absolutely, yeah, I can see Rachel.
Yeah,
shining like a
beacon.
light.
She's still going.
Yeah.
Are we gonna when when she gets replaced, because inevitably we'll get a new chancellor at some point.
Yeah.
Are we going to replace her, or are we going to just keep her in? Should we retire her to behind screen?
Yeah, she could. Yeah, just sit behind the plant or something.
And then we can get a new figurehead. Maybe like, I don't know who the head of HMRC is, but maybe we should go niche.
Yeah. Go a bit niche.
Rather than just go chancellor, go head of HMRC. Get a picture of them, find out who they are on LinkedIn.
Yeah. What are they doing? Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, no, things are good. I think it's just that time of year now where it's quieter for us. Mm-hmm. So take a bit of time back, really focus on myself in terms of just trying to get that balance right, do a bit more like fitness stuff.
Yeah, good.
I've built a Wendy house in the garden for the kids. I painted it. Did you see it this morning when you came?
No, I didn't. You know, when we go back to your place later and get my car, I'll have a look. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, it was quite early when you.
I did see you building it though when I was on my way back from holiday. And I popped up to yours. You were there with the drill in hand. Robert there carrying the planks of wood for you.
He was helping me. It was actually really fun because obviously me and Rob, we work together.
Yeah.
And it's always all business with mine and his relationship now. Like, he's obviously married, I'm married, we've got kids. So we're just busy. So as brothers, we're like, the time that we spend together, it's always like work. We don't actually spend any time personally.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's quite sad, actually. But I actually enjoyed it because it was like, the weather was it was actually a little bit rainy that day. It was the first bit of rain we'd had in. Ironically, as you put in a Wendy. So it was like,
the one day.
All the good weather we've had in April, it's not rained at all. Because we're filming this on the 1st of May.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be coming out in start of June, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
But April was obviously very dry, and it was raining. But me and him, we were just, I don't know, we were just getting on, cracking on with it. It started raining, and we both had we sell country clothing, don't we? So we were well prepared.
Yeah.
So Rob had, I think, a Swan Dry waterproof smock style thing. Absolutely fantastic piece of kit.
Right.
I'll tell you what, it's a new brand for us. Really nice brand. And then I was just wearing a Ridgeline, like fleecy hoodie, which like had a water repellent outer on it.
Yeah, perfect for those showery conditions.
But it was funny because we were like, it was raining. We were trying to get the roof on. We built the sides, and then underneath, absolute rookie mistake.
Go on.
My neighbour came over and he was like, Nick. He was like, do you want a hand with anything? We were both like, just fucking done with it. I was like, oh no, we're all right. Amy'd made some homemade pizza. We'd like screwed all the 4 corners together, so the outer shell, and then we put the 2 triangles on, ready for the roof to go on. And then we realised, we're like, oh no, we've not removed these transportation blocks from underneath it.
Oh.
So we had to like prop the side up, because it was quite heavy with all 4 sides.
Yeah, I bet.
And then like with a crowbar off the little thing. So make sure you read the instructions. And interestingly, so I started at step 1 on the instructions.
Yeah.
There was a step 0.
Oh, you're joking.
Which was removing the transportation. Well, it wasn't even step 0. It was just like, before you get
Pointers.
started, make sure you have everything here. And then at the very bottom of it, it was like, make sure you remove all transportation blocks.
Yeah.
Didn't read that.
Skip past that bit. We don't need to. We don't even. It's irrelevant.
I just flicked straight to step 1 and started.
In fairness to you, step 1 you would think is step 1, but there's preliminary stuff that you missed. It's like the instructions where they say, make sure you've got all these bits of kit that should be in the pack.
Yeah.
Inevitably, there's screws missing and all sorts of things.
Yeah, and to be fair, I did start that. I started off looking at what steps I need, what bits and pieces I needed, and there was so many little bits. I was like, "Yeah, we've got it off."
Yeah, it's the ADHD, and I think you just
like,
went.
I can't deal with this.
Quick spot check.
How do we put the roof on? Let's do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then it started raining, and then there was like a particular moment I like destroyed my finger a little bit. I mean, it's healed now, but the roof wouldn't quite slot on.
Right.
Just the way it worked. I don't know. I checked all the corners. Everything was right angled off, but it just wasn't slotting in slightly. It's like, we need to cut this little bit of it was like out by a couple of mil.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck do we do? And I didn't have the I was like, so I was like, fatigued. We went and got a file out the garage.
Oh, you're joking.
So in the fucking rain,
I
stood there filing. Rob's on the inside, the roof's on the building, so he's like propping the roof up with his head just stuck out, and I'm on step ladders, and it's like pissing it down with rain. It's at like 8 p.m, starting to go dark.
Yeah.
And then we did it for about 5 minutes. It wouldn't go in. And I was like, why are we not just cutting it with a saw?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just grabbed the saw and we just cut it off in like 3 seconds. I was like, why have we just spent 10 minutes doing that? Because like midway through it slipped with the file onto my finger, blood pouring down my arm. It's just like...
But you thought, why am I bothering?
But me and Rob were just pissing ourselves laughing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is actually really nice.
Yeah, a bit of bonding, brotherly bonding.
Because we've not done something like that in a while. So, yeah, I said to him afterwards, I said, when you need your Wendy house building for your daughter, let me know.
Yeah.
Madness. Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about reputation.
Okay, yeah.
And I think this applies to both your personal reputation and your business's reputation.
Yeah.
The importance of it and how it... I asked ChatGPT for a couple of different episode titles because me and Morgan have been chatting about how we should maybe have the episode title before we talk about the topic to frame it in a little bit. So it's got 3 different options for Morgan to pick from.
Okay, yeah.
So reputation is everything until it isn't. And then it came up with the brand you build versus the one they talk about.
Yeah.
And then I quite like this one. Trust, status, and the fear of being found out.
Yeah.
So different like pivots on the whole topic, really.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. But yeah, I think reputation in business, obviously, it's huge, isn't it?
Yes, it's almost number one, isn't it, I suppose?
And it's actually probably your reputation to a certain degree. It's your biggest marketing tool.
Yeah.
Like people, like word of mouth, people talking about you. And if you do good things for other people, that can create a positive reputation surrounding you personally and your business. Then people want to tell other people about you because you've done them favours. So it can be quite a positive thing. If you have a reputation of being a good, helpful person, it can go a long way, I think.
Yeah, it means a lot to people, doesn't it? And again, that builds the reputation and the stature of that individual, that they're trustworthy, reliable.
Yeah.
And that's why there's good praise going around about that individual.
Something that really tickled me when I was thinking about this, when I was having the conversation with ChatGPT, was like the concept of being, would you rather be, so this is a question for you, would you rather be respected or feared?
It's a good one, yeah.
Cue evil laugh.
No, thinking. I think, personally for me, I'd rather be respected over being feared. I just don't think I'm that personality type where you would fear me as an individual anyway, just because of the way I am. I'd rather be respected for the right things, that he's a good, honourable person. He he's a likeable individual, but he, hardworking, conscientious, all those sorts of things. Versus, because I think you can be feared for the wrong reasons as well.
Yeah.
I think you can be feared for just, a bit of a wild card. You don't know how they're going to react. But that's also good to have in the armoury, isn't it?
Pros and cons, isn't it? It's about your personality.
Yeah.
I think in a way you want to be respected by your team and your partners. But I kind of quite like the idea of with your competitors being feared. It's quite a good psychological thing.
Warfare, psychological warfare.
Yeah.
No, I can get behind that, definitely.
Like the whole Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which is a great little book if anyone... It's all about military strategy.
Okay,
But it really applies to business. It's worth a look. It's a book that you shouldn't listen to. You should actually read. And even as a dyslexic person, it's definitely worth a read. Because it's very each page is only... It's quite short.
Yeah.
But it's very strategic. I mean, I'm not going to attempt to quote it because it's been a while since I read it, or read parts of it. It's something that you can refer back to and just open on a random page and read it and get some meaning out of it.
Yeah, I like that.
But kind of that concept of being feared is quite an interesting one when it comes to competition.
Yeah.
But I suppose being feared and respected, they are two very different things. But I think they in certain industries, being feared is quite a...
Yeah.
What
about you? Would you rather be respected or feared?
Definitely respected first, and then, like I say, feared for competitors. Yeah. I like the idea of competitors being anxious around the concept of us. I quite like that.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You're out there to steal market share from your competitors, aren't you?
Yeah.
for the demand in the market, whatever you're selling at the time, your country clothing.
Yeah, cause them a bit of trouble.
Yeah, they just need to know.
Like it,
yeah.
It's like, oh God, Holland's.
Yeah.
They're doing this brand. Oh no,
Yeah. And you do a good job with it, and that's where the respect.
I think it's like that fear because we're so good at what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because we're bad people. So like fear because it's like, oh God, we've got to compete against Holland's. They're shit hot at this. That. Like they're switched on. They know what they're doing. It's like, oh God. Which respect and fear? It's an interesting one. That. What about you, Morgan? Do you want to be respected as a podcast studio or feared?
I suppose it depends by who, right?
Yeah.
I think if another podcast studio, I think even if, if they respect, like I was going to say, if another podcast studio feared me, like, oh, great. But the reality is if they respect you, they're not going to step on your toes. So, like I worked with another podcast studio from down in Newcastle recently, and like there was respect between us. And you know what? I feel like we both gained something from that. We could both give each other advice. So I think, as cheesy as it sounds, probably respected by all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it depends on the industry you're in. Yeah, that's the key thing. I think, and you it depends what game you're in, and who we're talking about really. Anyway, so we've got our little British business fact, which we'll talk about. So we've got Ratner's went from a high street hero to a national joke, all because of one sentence. So in 1991, Gerald Ratner called his own products crap in a speech, and it wiped £500 million off the company's value. A single moment shattered years of trust and proved that a good reputation takes years to build and seconds to lose.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker.
And so, Ratner's doesn't ring a bell for me. Does it ring a bell?
I have heard of Gerald Ratner before, and that blunder he made in that speech.
Right. So you have heard
on another podcast, I think it was.
I don't even know what they do.
A jewellery retailer.
Is that that was it? Yeah.
And he I think from memory, you have to check this out, but he at one point had the highest revenue per square foot in all of his stores, like competing, because obviously jewellery store doesn't need to be a big space, does it, as opposed to selling high value products, but comparable to the market,
and
he was absolutely killing it. Yeah.
Interesting. And then what will have happened is someone like the BBC will have then plastered it all over national news.
Yeah.
They just love a little bit.
Yeah, you're buying crap from Gerald Ratner, you're paying thousands for it,
exactly.
Overpriced rubbish, all that, and then reputational damage to that is significantly impacted his business. In it, 500 million off his valuation. Awful.
Yeah, I think it's interesting actually. My reputation within my industry for doing this podcast and stuff like that.
That's a good point.
The impact. I think we're obviously we're a little bit on the edge.
Yeah.
And it's that balance between but also I think it's good to show a bit of personality.
Yeah.
But I think it's very true. You can build a really fantastic reputation as a brand or an individual, and it just takes one misstep.
Yeah.
Or something to come out, and then your reputation is ruined. It can just go from really solid reputation to
all that hard work undone for maybe a misstep, as you say.
And these days it can be accusations.
Yeah, it actually needs to be something you've done.
Yeah, it could be something that you've been accused of.
Yeah.
Whether obviously maybe fraud or worse things, but sometimes things like that, it doesn't even necessarily have to be factual.
Doesn't need to be true, does it?
And what often happens when you see big businesses and personalities, they'll get accused of something, it'll be plastered all over the news, and it'll say that they're accused.
Yeah.
But there's this presumption of guilt.
Yeah, accuse means nothing, does it?
And then 6 weeks later, on the back page of the newspaper, because the news the journalists, they have to correct themselves if they get it
a
wrong.
retraction.
There'll be like a retraction or a thing, a little short snippet to say, on the 21st of June last year we did this article and it's been proven that it's slightly different.
Yeah,
but it's like, well, that's not on the front page, is it?
No, because it's not going to sell the papers, is it? Or get the eyeballs that.
So they've corrected themselves, but the reputational damage is already done.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you know? I think it was a brand. Do you know what? I know the guy, so probably I won't say. But I'll tell you later.
Right, but, off camera.
Yeah. I'll tell you off camera, or DM me and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But basically, this brand, they did something, and the BBC started reporting on them a little bit.
Right.
And they were basically really cutting edge with what they were doing. Like, it was, the marketing was a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
So they were kind of leading themselves into a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it kind of backfired, because what happened was that they made themselves a target for an opposite opinion.
Yeah.
If let's just say that. And I think that's as vague as I can go, because people might connect the dots.
You have to,
I don't want to
bring me up to speed with that.
In a difficult position, but they didn't do anything illegal or anything. It was just it was a very like cutting like mainstream.
Yeah.
A little bit fine. Let's just say that. And then a certain BBC basically did an article on them, and it went viral. So it probably helped them to a certain degree, but then the brands kind of collapsed off the back of it. So
dear.
Yeah, bit rubbish really. But it just shows like so with certain types of marketing, you do have to be careful.
You have to be very careful, consider what the impact can be, positive and negative in that instance.
Who you align yourself with. I mean, it's a bit dangerous us sat here criticising HMRC, and
she might come for you. You don't know.
We both could be investigating.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is we pay lots of tax.
Yeah.
So
Well, everything's really above board, isn't it? What we do,
exactly. So we can't
take no risks with that
we're
stuff.
Like crystal clear. So bring it on.
No, absolutely. And you're talking there about like this podcast and your reputation in industry. Have you had anyone from within industry, either competitors or suppliers, reach out?
I've had loads of people message me saying, "Oh, that's cool, Matt, that you're doing that." I've had people make comments. Some people even, do you know what, make sarcastic comments.
Okay.
But I think it says more about them.
Yeah, you don't mind that. That's just a bit,
do you know what?
Bring it on.
I'm like, whatever, yeah. And
they wouldn't do this though, probably. Exactly. That's the funny thing, isn't it?
And that's the thing that kind of spurs me on to do more and make it succeed. It's the people that are just a bit more negative about it. It's I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's like, right.
Then just drop them a message with a link to the 1,000 episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have a bit of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that underdog mentality. That's the entrepreneur, and you're being like, right. That's what it's massive. I think proving people wrong. That's part of the fuel.
Biggest driver.
It's part of the fuel, isn't it?
Biggest driver, yeah. Because I love it when people doubt me.
Yeah. Say you can't do something.
Oh dear. That Gerald
Ratner.
Gerald Ratner. Yeah, it's an interesting one. That.
Yeah.
So, business blunder of the week.
Yeah.
So this is all about neglecting your brand. And do you know, I think the guy now, is it Sir Philip Green? Arcadia Group.
Yeah, he had Top Shop.
Loads of stuff has come out about him personally.
This week?
No, recently.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
About being a bit of a pest and all the rest of it.
Oh, here we go,
But it's not actually about him, it's just more about Arcadia and the business group.
Yeah.
But Arcadia were big, weren't they?
They were smashing it for years upon years when High Street still is, a main channel for a lot of retailers in it that aren't online, or maybe omni-channel. But they own the High Street for years. All the brands that they had, Dorothy Perkins was one, I believe.
Top Shop,
Burton Menswear, Top Man.
I suspect
Top
you
Shop.
shopped at Burton.
Oh yeah.
I did a little bit as well.
And Top Man as well.
Top
and all
Man,
that.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and even my wife, when shopping, she was shopping at Top Shop. Yeah. Now it's all Zara and H&M and all that sort of stuff. But
I think to a certain extent, actually, retail, when you're in that mainstream, things come in and out of fashion products and styles, but so do retailers.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So the best companies are retail companies that will have a brand or a retail brand that is a shop, a chain of shops, a retail shop chain, and then they'll see that doing well, they'll back it, and then as it starts to draw back down, they'll push and put resources on something a bit more cutting edge, or they'll acquire something that's on the up.
Yeah.
But the reason why, so British Blunder of the Week, so our little other thing that we cover off at the start. So Arcadia Group's brand neglect. So obviously we're talking about reputation, so it's heavily interlinked with brand.
Yeah.
What do you, out of interest, before I say, what do you think was one of the primary failures for that group, Arcadia? Why do you think they went into decline?
I mean, I would say lack of innovation. Like, I remember their products were very much like what I've got on right now, actually, to be fair. And I think this might even be just a plain Zara t-shirt. Yeah. All the products that, at one point it was fashionable to wear Top Man because of some of the designs and things like that. After, it became like just a commodity, like plain t-shirts, plain hoodies. And then you get the competition coming in, you know, other people online. ASOS introduced their own basics range, and then price becomes a problem.
Yeah. Thinking about what you just said there, and it's not mentioned here, but two things for me.
Yeah.
One would be pricing.
Yeah.
The rise of Primark.
Yeah. That's Primark.
So that's a bricks competitor.
Yeah.
But then what ChatGPT has highlighted is that they ignored digital and the shifts in consumer behaviour to online.
Yeah.
They weren't aggressive enough online.
No.
And they were committed to the high street.
Yeah.
Like, because it's worked for years.
Yeah.
That kind of mindset of, well, this is working for us. We believe it's going to be stable, and they're not.
Old school mentality.
Yeah.
And they probably had enormous property portfolio or long leases in loads of high streets and main shopping centres that it's like, well, we're heavily invested in, so we need to put our time and resource into this. Let's not go to a different channel and spend hundreds of millions getting digital going. They probably just doubled down on what was working for them at the time.
Well, they will have been tied into 10-year leases, 20-year leases. They were. I bet you they didn't own much commercial property.
No.
The capital involved to own the commercial property that company would have been astronomical.
Yeah.
And even though they've been going well for a while, they hadn't had 70 years of fantastic growth. They've been around for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
So as soon as things start to go wrong, you then operating costs are really high.
Yeah.
And so ChatGPT's focusing on that, ignoring digital consumer shifts. And then so the mistake, relying on brand legacy instead of evolving with the market. And then the fallout, declining relevance, store closures, and eventual collapse. And it's saying the lesson is reputation is a living thing. If you don't keep investing in it, it dies.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember at the time when it was, going through its demise and the collapse, and he was in the papers all the time because I believe his wife, he had his wife as the owner of the majority of the business, and all the money was funneling back offshore to Monaco, I think it was, where they lived. Again, talk about reputational damage and the whole thing with the pension as well for the individuals.
Was it BHS?
BHS, yeah.
I mean,
he owned that and he sold it to
a guy for a quid.
Dominic Chappell or something he was called.
Yeah, but I don't think no experience in retail.
Yeah, no experience. I think he was something to do with airlines or something previously.
I think that was some kind.
Fall guy for it.
Yeah, we don't get sued, but whether it something dodgy went on there.
Yeah, something.
Whether he was brought in, sell it to £1, and then he was going to sink the ship.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
You don't know. You see it all in the papers, so you just don't know, do you? I suppose, in a way, what actually happened behind the scenes. But
very interesting. But they were big. Like growing, like obviously I was born in 1990. What year were you born?
87.
87, showing your age.
Old now. Look at this. That's why the grey hairs are here, mate.
But that brand, like I remember walking around like Stockport High Street. Stockport's in South Manchester. Bit of a dive.
Yeah,
but
it's up and coming now, apparently.
A bit of investment.
That's the reputation of Stockport. You've got a bit of a dive, but then I believe there's investment going on and things now.
But like those staple shops, I remember. I can envision exactly which units they were in and stuff like that.
They were massive units as well. Huge.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, big.
Debenhams, BHS, Topshop, Topman.
Think about Debenhams, that building.
Yeah.
It's a huge commercial property.
Yeah, on the corner, innit?
Landlords must be. It's interesting how the high street's evolving. So, ChatGPT discussion segments.
Yeah.
What is reputation really built on?
Yeah.
is it what you do or what people say when you're not in the room? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, is it what you do or what people say when you're not in the room? How do you know if your business feels credible to others? Mm-hmm. So, like, when you think about, like, supplier relations and stuff like that, I like to think that I've got a good personal brand within my industry in the sense that suppliers, when they talk about us, they go, oh, Matt Holland, he's really switched on, really good guy. But then I also like to think that competitors fear us.
So
it's like two different personalities almost.
Yeah, fierce competition. Well, that it'll get fed back to them if they're in meetings with the same supplier, which I'm sure they are, being competition. And they hear that, oh yeah, Matt Holland, great guy. And there'll probably be a bit of envy there, thinking, oh my God, he's putting us under a load of pressure online with, drowning us out of market share. But yeah, he's, a good individual.
I think it's about, like, just having good values. That word of mouth reputation, it's just about being a good person.
Yeah, I think that word of mouth reputation falls back to, if you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
And then, they always say, if you want something done, ask a busy man, because they just get it done, don't they, at the end of the day? Yeah. And I think that is credibility, shows that you're trustworthy, and that's what falls behind your reputation, If someone lets you down, you're not going to sing the praises, are you? You're not going to go, great guy, but, he's a bit flaky. Like,
I think the flaky point is a really interesting one because I think there's a lot of really flaky people in business.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I think the vast majority of... Unfortunately, there's a lot of very average out there.
Yeah.
And those people are average because they don't follow through with what they say.
No.
So they'll promise and it's about, you almost want to underpromise and overdeliver. Manage expectations really carefully.
Yeah.
I'm always very cautious in conversations with partners, third party suppliers and what have you about talking real. Rather than bigging it up.
Yeah, you've got to,
Keep it like we go, well, let's go for this and aim for that, but let's go for this.
Yeah.
Rather than go for this and deliver that.
Yeah, and then they'll be disappointed. They'll be
exactly.
Say Matt said he could do this, sell X amount of units of this, and they've done 10% of it. Like, you want to be the other way around, don't you? Or somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, you don't want to be, and I think that kind of like honesty and realism is really powerful. Especially like if you think about other business types. If you're a B2B business where you're delivering services or products into say one of our suppliers or something, you can't say, right, this product, I've not had a single fault. We don't get returns. We don't get any fault. As soon as I hear that come out of the mouth, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So it's like, just on it. Yeah, we do get some faulties.
Yeah, but we deal with it in the right way.
This is how we deal with it. Like,
that's all you want to know, isn't it? And you think, he's talking the truth. He's talking straight. Or that, they're talking straight. And
it's like when you get the old SEO salesman.
Oh yeah, good God, go on.
It's like the snake oil salesman. That's it. Yeah. So
we'll get you to the page one of Google. On top of every competition. Don't worry about that.
There'll be no competition. We'll get you in position 1 through to 8. Like we'll drown them out. You're like, this is amazing. This is going to be fantastic. How much is it going to cost me? Like, $3,000 a month. It'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And then it's like 4 months in, you're like, what is going on over it? Just tumbleweed.
Yeah, why are we still on page 10? What's going on?
Oh, well, it takes time.
It
takes time.
Yeah. Oh, God. See, that's a industry reputation, and that ties back to that. Because there's no guarantees in that industry.
Oh, yeah, and I think other third part, like we're online retailers, so we're talking about our experiences, but I hope people listening can kind of like think about their industry and like their behaviour or the behaviour of people that they work with, and like you get into scenarios where you might be looking at changing with a third party partner or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe it's you. I had a guy ring me yesterday, and he was like, it was a cold call. I was driving, so I was just kind of entertained.
Yeah, because you had nothing to do in the car, so you thought, right.
Just like on the way back from the accounts, he was like, oh, how you doing, Matt? And I was like, I'm doing great, mate. How are you? And he was
Bet
like,
that threw him off, you know.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm just sat in the office. I bet it's really warm in here. And I was like, oh, can they not afford aircon at your place? That's what I said. And I was like, no, I'm joking. I'm in the car. Had a bit of banter with him. And then he was like, yeah, so we specialise in buying and selling currency. We can save you loads of money. And I was like, oh, right, okay, that's interesting. I said, well, to be honest with you, mate, like, we don't, because we're a retailer, we buy most of our goods in pounds or euros. We don't really have a need to do much currency conversion, and I use Revolut.
Yeah.
It's just dead easy with that bank. And he was like, well, let's have a call, let's do this. I was like, listen, mate, I'll be frank with you. Like, we're talking about saving 0.01% or whatever it might be on transaction fees for a very small amount. I think it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I guarantee.
Yeah, don't give me that. Yeah.
I was like, come on. So I said, I'm going to have to go, mate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, someone's ringing me. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But I've learned to sniff out the BS.
Yeah.
Where they give these unrealistic promises.
Yeah.
Whereas 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
That's because you were wet behind the ears and,
a little bit, yeah.
It's experience that you've got now. You're like, come on. Like,
Yeah. But what these people don't realise is they can only, as a brand or a business, you can only make promises like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be promising the world and then under-delivering.
Yeah.
Because then Tom McIlvenny's not going to be shouting about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be like, oh, this partner, they've been absolutely fantastic. They promised me this level, but they delivered here, but I'm still happy.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing. It just doesn't work. You want to over-deliver.
Yes.
That's it. And actually, sometimes when you're thinking of switching, because this guy was straight away, he was like, yeah, Revolut shit.
Right, oh yes.
And I was like, what?
It's
really slick and dead easy to use.
Yeah.
So the way we work, you ring us up and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to ring you up when I want to change.
And I think it falls back there. He's talking down and slagging off his competitors or what he feels is a competitor in Revolut. And I'm like, that's not really the way to get in front of people.
It's not a good look.
It's not going to build like that trust, even like the belief in that company, thinking, all right, okay, so you know, whatever Revolut is in terms of size of business, it's huge, I'm sure. It's
just the classic when obviously we deal with pay-per-click agency and SEO agencies and what have you, and other third parties. As soon as someone rings you up and says, "Oh, I've been looking at your ads and you're appearing here," and they start slandering what you're already doing, it's the wrong approach.
No, I don't like it.
That kind of like negativity. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Is that really the look you're going for?
No.
To slander who you're already part. I don't know. But yeah. So under promise and over deliver. That's my mindset, and I think that creates a really positive reputation. Yeah. Managing expectations in a diligent and careful way, because you don't want to over promise for people.
No,
because it just. Yeah.
That's where the word of mouth comes back, doesn't it? With that good reputation for any business in an industry. Like we talk, same industry. You've recommended plenty of providers, third-party providers to me, and I've recommended third-party providers to you that have, because they've got a good reputation, I've got a good relationship with them. I've said, oh, you know what? Speak to Matt at Holland's Country Clothing. You do a great job for us. I'm sure he'll, look at it. And that's where the reputation comes in within any industry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Customer recruitment.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, you're only as good as your reputation. Really, you might be really good at what you do, but if your reputation's poor because you've over promised and under delivered, the opposite of what I'm saying, it's not a good look. This is an interesting one. So the double-edged sword of visibility.
Yeah.
So has a growing profile ever made you more cautious? What's the pressure of being known before you feel ready? So that's the idea of like your brand or your business kind of going on this trajectory of growth, but perhaps your mindset doesn't match it, or you're cautious that your brand is growing, your reputation is outgrowing your actual business.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're kind of like, you're perceived to be this great, fantastic thing, and everyone thinks you're going to deliver fantastically. Yeah. But then you're like, my systems aren't good enough to actually. So your reputation moves faster than your actual business.
Supersedes your business. Yeah. No, you see that. You see that online a lot, don't you? With the individuals we were talking before about, someone you've had an encounter with going into a certain industry and then pivoted and selling services even though they've not actually walked the walk and talked the talk.
Or it's like the front end looks fantastic, reputation looks good, but the back end doesn't have the structure systems in place to match it up.
Yeah.
So I think as a business, you've got to be careful about growing your reputation, your word of mouth. You've had a couple of good customers, your brand looks really switched on and perfect, reputation looks good, but then it's not married up with service.
Yeah, yep. That's
so you kind of, because you have that fantastic early period, you go into this growth thing, and then you enter into issues because your systems haven't developed and grown as fast as your reputation has.
Everything starts creaking, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then you can end up with this reputation, so it's like a boom and then a bust.
Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah,
because your reputation's been growing steadily, but your operational improvements haven't been growing at the same rate. So then your system starts creak, then you get bad reputation, bad reviews, bad feedback, and then it goes...
Yeah, the momentum starts then, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, that's where you need to level your game up, isn't it? Where you need to stand behind what you say you're going to do, and put those systems and processes in place to avoid that, don't you?
And managing expectations.
Yeah.
So if you're getting, because your reputation's really strong, you're getting loads of inquiries, loads of new customers coming to the doors. Well, you need to say to them, I'm really sorry, guys. The wait on food at the moment is it's an hour.
Yeah.
Even though you probably think it's probably 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it the other way.
Give them an hour. Yeah.
You don't. The last thing is you go into a busy restaurant. Can you squeeze us in? Yeah, no problem. It's fine. The kitchen's coping fine.
Yeah.
Sit them down, get some drinks delivered, and you're like,
where's the waiter or waitress?
45 minutes for the food. What's going on?
Yeah.
Just ordered a bit of bruschetta.
Yeah.
Some tomatoes and some toast. Come on, mate.
Should be simple enough.
Yeah.
We've experienced that. I'm sure we all have.
Yeah. So I think managing those expectations, if you are going through that, and you're like, right, listen, we can do this for you, but the delivery time is going to be longer.
Yeah.
Because we are busy with these customers. And people will wait.
Yeah.
If they know they're going to get a good service and product.
Yeah.
It's when you go, no problem, we'll have it to you next week.
Yeah.
And then it takes 4 weeks.
Yeah. Then you're like, credibility's gone.
Yeah.
And that comes back to transparency, what you're talking about there, and communication.
Yeah.
Those two things. And that will obviously then help build trust. Like, you said it's going to be an hour. Fair enough, we know he's transparent, he's open about it, communicate effectively, and then you don't mind waiting, do you?
Yeah.
But if you say, be out in 10 minutes, and an hour later, reputation of that restaurant or that business, whatever service they're providing the customer, it's just shot in it.
I think if you're managing those expectations and updating people on where you're at and what's going on with the product that they're waiting for, or maybe you're a builder and you get delayed.
Yeah, tradespeople are the
worst, yeah.
But you do hear, again, falling back to reputation, some tradespeople, the praises are sung because you know what, they do what they say they're going to do.
I think that is the best sign of someone that's in the trades.
Yeah.
If you ring them and say, I need a new roof on my garage, and he says, it'll be April 2026.
Yeah.
That's the earliest I can slot you in, and there could be delays as well.
Yeah. Those are the ones you want, though.
And then you're like, I want that guy.
I want that guy. Ring someone else up. Ring Bob up.
Like, I can be there this afternoon, mate. I don't know. It's not a big issue. This, I'll just chuck a bit of tar on it. It'll be
Yeah.
Be like, what?
I'll be there at 3. They're the ones that then turn up at 6:30, 3.5 hours late, in a battered old dirty van.
Yeah.
Dressed in, scruffs like it, again, reputation, innit?
Yeah.
Do what you say you're going to do. Turn up on time. Say you're going to be there, be there.
Yeah. Rebuild, so almost finished on this one, but rebuilding after a reputation hit, so inevitably we all make mistakes, things don't go to plan, so you have a bit of a PR disaster, something goes wrong, system goes down, so for us it might be like, I don't know, Royal Mail van breaks down on the way to collect us, we don't get our priorities out. What do you do? Like, and you're getting customers upset and frustrated. Like, obviously, there's ways you can turn it around, but have you ever been in a situation where you've had to win back trust, either personally or professionally? I can think of a few scenarios, but
I'm sure I have. I mean, off the top of my head, there's probably been times where I've let people down. I've probably said, "Oh yeah, I'll do this, that, and the other," and I've either wrongly forgotten to do it or done it incorrectly, and that's where then you've got to put the extra work in, haven't you? Go the extra mile and show up and deliver exactly what you say you would do, over and over again, and try and rebuild that trust. That's the only way to do it. And being open and honest and apologise.
And actually, I think it's okay for you to misstep with your reputation.
Well, we're all humans, aren't we?
If I've always delivered what I've said, and I've over-delivered consistently 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
But 2 scenarios where I've said I'll deliver this, I've just missed it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, come on, guys, look.
Yeah.
And I think partners and customers, if there's a bit of a misstep, they can get it if you've delivered consistently.
Yeah.
It's when coincidentally that first experience for a customer is a bit of a misstep.
God.
It's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Right, so how do you turn that around? And I think you've got to, obviously, and it comes back to like the whole conversation about customer and brand, and you want to make sure they're looked after and you want to win them back and all the rest of it. But sometimes what might happen is you might lose that customer because of a poor experience, and your reputation might be damaged with that individual, but because their friends are also customers of you.
Yeah.
So like for us, it'd be like a shooting syndicate.
Yes.
So like there might be 7 guys.
Yeah.
And 6 out of the 7 guys have all bought from us.
Yeah.
One of the guys gets referred on. He orders from us, has a bad experience for whatever reason. Something's gone wrong. Goes back to his mates. He's like, "Oh, they're terrible."
Yeah.
But then all the other guys that are ordering from us regularly are still saying, "Oh, they're great."
So they're great. They did a great job for me.
Then the noise will kind of maybe give us another chance.
You'll get drowned out that way, won't it? The noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do more right than wrong, then, innit? Show up more times.
Yeah, you're going to get it wrong sometimes, basically.
Yeah, we're all human. It's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's how you deal with that when you've gone wrong and you've made a mistake. And that comes back to, I think, communication, transparency, apologise and move on and do right then.
I was very proud, actually, of probably a couple of weeks ago now, this customer tagged the business on a post in LinkedIn.
Right.
Saying, I've recently had a bad experience with this company, but the customer service team were fantastic, really helped me out and they fixed it.
Good.
Just sharing this. So anyone in my network, I think he was within our niche of country clothing, he was in a gamekeeper or something. He was just saying, like, anyone, really good company to deal with. This went wrong, but then they fixed it. No problem. I just thought it was really nice. So I shared his thing and I just said, thank you, really appreciate that, because it's good for people to hear that we don't get it right all the time. But when we do get it wrong, we fix it.
Yeah. And it shows that human element of the business there, that you as the managing director are also getting involved in that conversation. Yeah. And it's transparent because it's online in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That actually, we did like mess up, but you know what? We've got a good customer service team and they put it right. And now that customer's happy. And he will probably be a loyal customer for time now, knowing that, they made a bit of a mistake on I'm not sure what it was, but they made a bit of a mistake on this, that, and the other, but they put it right.
Well, I actually got one of the team to send a Holland's country clothing mug out to the customer.
Did you?
Well. Yeah. So
bless you.
Sorted him out with a free mug. So it's little things like that. And then he will probably become a ambassador for us.
An advocate of Holland's country clothing.
Yeah,
He'll be telling all the other gamekeepers. I imagine they'll all talk to each other, I'm pretty sure, won't they, in that niche?
Yeah, it's interesting how kind of reputation is so heavily interlinked with customer service and experience and like delivering what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Mega important.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there anything else you'd add to that kind of topic?
No, I think you've covered it off well. Like reputation, like do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and underpromise, overdeliver.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Because if you do it the other way around, it's a bit...
Yeah, you've got to stand behind what you say you're going to do, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was like probably 2 years into my journey, outsourced fulfillment. There was an old school guy that's been with this third party provider that I was with for 40 years, a guy called Roy. Big Roy, and there was a third-party provider for them with a IT developer, and he kept telling me I needed some sort of integration sorting. Oh, yeah, I'll do it. It'll be done this week. Blah blah blah. Getting nowhere, and I'm chatting to Roy. I was like, Roy, like, what's happening with this? And he called him. He got him. He said, not to name the individual, but he said, where are you up to with this for young Tom? You know, because I was only like 22 at the time, whatever. Oh, yeah, no, I'll get it done. He said, well, let me just remind you, like, I'm of the old school where if you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
And this guy's face went, I'll go and do it now. Like, he's like, that's it, Roy. Roy, put his foot down. That's where reputation's built. Like that's why that IT provider.
And reputation internally within your business as well. Like with your staff, and don't tell your staff you're going to help them out and then not
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all these things. Anyway, we'll leave it there. That's a pretty solid episode. And I think we'll do a little sneak preview of what we're covering next week, which I think is quite a good way of doing it. So, episode 18 next Monday when it comes out. So what we learned outside the boardroom. Taking personal experiences and skills and bringing them into the workplace. I think that'll be quite an interesting topic to cover. The British Business Fact is all about James Dyson. So
interesting one. That'd be a good one.
Serious entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.